My wife and mother tried to destroy me with lies, so I made them watch their lives collapse. The fluorescent light flickered overhead in the garage, casting uncertain shadows across Jason's workbench. His reflection wavered in the window, a ghost of the man he used to be. Dark circles beneath his eyes told the story of countless sleepless nights. Worry lines etched deep into his forehead like battle scars from a war he hadn't chosen. The mechanical war of Thegridge door filled the space, descending with the finality of a prison gate. The distinctive click of the lock echoed a throw, the confined space sealing him inside. Through the door leading to the house, Amber's laughter cut through there like broken glass. "Look at you hiding in your little garage," she taunted, her voice dripping with disdain. "Can't even face me like a man, can you, Jason?" He gripped the edge of his workbench, knuckles white with tension. The wood beneath his fingers was smooth from years of use, worn down by projects he'd once found solace in. Now it felt like the only solid thing in his world. "Michael would never cower like this," Amber continued, knowing exactly where to thrust her verbal knife. "He knows how to handle himself, how to handle me." The mention of their neighbor sent a surge of anger through Jason's body. Images flashed through his mind, Michael's knowing smirks at neighborhood barbecues, the way Amber's hand would linger on his arm, the whispered conversations that would stop when Jason approached. "You should be thankful I even let you stay in this house." Amber's voice rose, becoming shrill with mock authority. "Your wife deserves pleasure from your neighbor if you can't provide it. Obey Mummy or Lasea, kids." The threat to take his children made his vision blur with rage. But before he could respond, another verse joined the chorus of his torment. His mother's, "Jason, darling." Elaine's foully sweet tone carried through the door. "You know Amber's right. You've always been difficult, just like your father." His father. Jason's jaw clenched so tight he could hear his teeth grind. His mother had destroyed that relationship, too, driving wedges and manipulating situations until his father couldn't take it anymore. Now she was doing the same thing to his marriage, though this time with a willing participant in Amber. "Remember what happened when your father tried to stand up to me," Elaine continued, her voice taking on that familiar lecturing tone. "He lost everything. Is that what you want, Jason? To lose your children like he lost you?" The sound of their heels clicking against the hardwood floors grew fainter as they moved away from the door, their laughter mixing together in a toxic duet. Jason stood in the silence they left behind, his rapid breathing the only sound in the garage. He walked slowly around the space, taking in the organized tools on the pegboard, the neat rows of storage bins, the workbench where he'd spent countless hours trying to find peace. This had been high sanctuary once, a place where he could escape. Their constant manipulation, now they had turned it into his prison. Booters. He stood there, something shifted inside him. The familiar weight of despair began to lift, replaced by a clarity he hadn't felt in years. They thought they had trapped him, but in their arrogance, they had made a crucial mistake. They'd given him time to think, time to plan. Jason pulled out his phone, his fingers hovering over a thecapad. 2 weeks ago, he'd taken the first step without even realizing it. He opened his banking app and checked the balance of the account he had created under his business name. The numbers brought a grim smile to his face. He'd been transferring small amounts, nothing that would raise suspicion. It wasn't his whole fortune, but it was enough to start over, enough to protect his children. His children, their face sappered in his mind, innocent, untouched by the poison that had infected their home. He thought of his daughter's laugh, his son's curious questions. They deserved better than this toxic environment. Better than watching their mother's cruel games and their grandmother's manipulation. Walking to his laptop on the workbench, Jason connected to the security camera feed he'd installed throughout the house. The master bedroom camera had captured more than he'd ever expected. Evidence that would destroy both Amber's and his mother's carefully constructed case. He watched the footage silently, each frame building his case stronger. His phone buzzed with a text message. Michael's wife, have you seen Michael? He's not answering his phone. Jason's lip curled in a bitter smile. Ash glanced at the security footage playing on his laptop. He had seen Michael, all right. The cameras had seen everything. The night deepened around him as he worked, his mind clearing with each passing hour. First priority, secure new housing. He already had several properties in mind, far enough away to start fresh, but close enough to maintain his business connections. The children's schools would need to be notified, but carefully. One wrong move, one whispered word to the wrong person, and Amber or his mother would catch wind of his preparations. He pulled up his contacts, finding his attorney's number listed. Under a fake name. Tomorrow, he'd make the call, set the legal wheels in motion. The evidence he had gathered would ensure he got custody. No judge would side with Amber once they saw it. As he organized files and made notes, Jason felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Hope, not the desperate pleading hope of a trapped man, but the quiet certainty of someone who knew they held the winning hand. Thegarage grew colder as night settled in, but Jason barely noticed. His mind was too busy processing, planning, preparing. When the first light of dawn began to seep through the garage windows, he heard the door unlock. Amber stood in the doorway, perfectly made up despite the early hour, twirling her car keys around her finger. Ready to apologize? She asked, her smile dripping with false sweetness. Jason walked past her without a word, his shoulder brushing hers as he entered the house. She called after him, her voice rising with indignation, but he didn't turn back. Let her think she still held all the cards. Soon enough, she'd learned just how wrong she was. The game had changed, though Amber and his mother didn't know it yet. They thought they had broken him, molded him into their perfect puppet. Instead, they had forged him into something stronger, something dangerous. As he climbed the stairs and prepared for work, Jason allowed himself a small smile. The trap they thought they had set for him would become their own prison. But first, he had preparations to make. The real game was just beginning. 3 months earlier, Jason had made what seemed like an innocent purchase, a high-end home security system. When Amber questioned its expense, he played to her vanity. It's to protect your jewelry collection, he'd said. Watching her eyes light up at the mention of her precious possessions and all those designer bags you keep buying, the secret arrived in unmarked boxes, delivered to his office rather than their home. Each night, while Amber was occupied with her social media broadcasts or lengthy phone calls, Jason methodically installed the Devastrate their house. The master bedroom camera went in last, hidden within a decorative wall sconce that had insisted on buying an overpriced piece that would now serve a greater purpose. The electrician's error coming tomorrow to fix the wiring, he told her, when she complained about the bedroom lights flickering. In reality, he had created the interference himself, providing the perfect cover to install the final camera. The first signs of betrayal appeared within days. Jason sat in his office, tablet propped against his computer monitor, watching as Michael slipped through their back door one afternoon. Amber greeted him with familiar ease, their body language speaking volumes about the nature of their relationship. "I've missed you." Michael's voice came through clearly on the high-quality audio. "Your husband, still clueless." Amber's laugh was cruel. "Jason, he spends all his time in that garage, probably crying about how mean I am to him." She pressed herself against Michael. "He's pathetic, not like you." Jason's finger hovered over the screen, tempted to close the feed. But he forced himself to watch, to document, to build his case. Each betrayal was carefully archived, stored on encrypted drives that Amber would never find. The real shock came 2 weeks later. His mother's weekly visit took an unexpected turn. Jason watched through the cameras as Elaine arrived early, greeting Amber with conspiratorial familiarity. "Is everything ready?" Elaine asked, her voice eager. "Michael's on his way," Amber replied. "Jason's at work. He has no idea." What unfolded on camera made Jason's stomach turn. His own mother participating in Amber's infidelity, encouraging it, joining it. The footage would be devastating in court, destroying both their reputations in one blow. During dinner that evening, Jason maintained his facade of ignorance, while Elaine dominated the conversation. "You're working too much, Jason," she criticized, sharing knowing looks with Amber. "A man should be home more, taking care of his wife's needs." "Mother knows best," Amber added with a smirk, reaching for her wine glass. "You should listen to her more often." Jason nodded, playing the role they expected. "You're right, Mother, as always." The words tasted like ash in his mouth, but he kept his expression neutral. Under the table, his phone was recording every word. The next morning, he began phase 2 of his plan. The bank manager's sofa was cool and professional, the perfect setting for what needed to be done. "I'd like to discuss some investment options," Jason said, sliding a folder across the desk for my children's future. By the end of the meeting, he had established 3 new accounts under his business holdings. The manager, an old friend who owed Jason several favors, asked no questions about the unusual arrangement. That afternoon, Jason met with his attorney, Marcus Chen, in a coffee shop 3 towns over. No chance of running into anyone who knew Amber or his mother. "The evidence is substantial," Marcus said, reviewing the files on a secure laptop. "But we need to time this perfectly. One wrong move." "They'll try to take everything," Jason finished, "including my children." Marcus nodded grimly. "Your mother's influence in the community is significant, and Amber's family has connections in the school board. World need to be thorough." "I have more," Jason replied, pulling out a USB drive. "Audio recordings of them planning to declare me mentally unfit. They want to force a quick sale of the house. Split the profits before I can stop them." The lawyer's eyebrows rose as he listened to the recording. "This changes everything. When do you want to move?" "Not yet," Jason said, his voice firm. "Let them think they're winning. I need them to get sloppy, make mistakes. The more evidence we have, the stronger our position." Back at home, Jason maintained his routine. He endured Amber's taunts, his mother's criticisms, all while watching their schemes unfold through his hidden. Each betrayal was documented, each manipulation recorded. He found a house, a peaceful 3-bedroom ranch with a large yard, far from their current neighborhood, but still within his business's operating area. The realtor, carefully chosen for her discretion, helped him arrange everything under a corporate name. "The paperwork will be ready next week," she assured him. "No connection to your current address." Meanwhile, Amber grew bolder in her affair. She barely bothered to hide Michael's visits anymore. Confident in her perceived power over Jason, the cameras caught every encounter, every whispered plan, every moment of betrayal. One evening, as Jason reviewed the latest footage, he captured a conversation that confirmed his worst fears. "Once we have him declared unfit, everything goes to me," Amber told Michael, sprawled across their bed. His bed, the house, the business, assets, everything. "What about the kids?" Michael asked, his voice casual. "My mom's friends with the family court judge," she replied. "It's all arranged. Jason won't know what hit him." Little did she know, Jason had already arranged for the children's new schools, created trust funds they couldn't touch, and secured affidavit from business associates testifying to his mental competency and character. Every night, after everyone fell asleep, he would lie awake reviewing his plans, checking for weaknesses. The cameras blinked silently in their hidden locations, recording evidence of a conspiracy that would soon unravel. The trap they thought they had set for him was nearly ready to spring, but not on him. Soon, very soon, Amber and his mother would learn the true meaning of consequences. Jason sat in his office late one evening, reviewing mounting evidence on his encrypted laptop. The security camera feeds played out before him in silent testimony to his wife's betrayal. Each video file was meticulously labeled and categorized. A digital archive of destruction that would soon bring everything crashing down. His phone buzzed. Another text from his mother. "Coming over for dinner tomorrow. We need to discuss your attitude lately." He placed the phone face down without responding. Through his office window, he could see Michael's house across the street, lights blazing in the bedroom window. Michael's wife had left 3 weeks ago, taking their children with her. Jason had anonymously sent her some carefully selected video clips. From his security footage, the sound of heels clicking on hardwood drew his attention to one off-camera feeds. Amber was pacing in their bedroom, phone pressed to her ear. "Everything's going according to plan, Mother," she said, her voice clear through the high-quality audio. "The property assessor is coming next week. Once we have the house valued, we can move forward with the competency hearing." Jason's fingers flew across the keyboard, marking another time stamp for his attorney. The front door chimed, announcing someone's arrival. On another camera feed, he watched Elaine stride into their house like she owned it, not bothering to knock. "I've spoken with Judge Harrison," Elaine's voice carried up the stairs. "He's sympathetic to our situation. A mother knows when her son needs intervention." Jason's jaw tightened as he watched their conspiracy unfold in real time. His mother had been like this, controlling everything, manipulating everyone. She'd done the same thing to his father years ago, but this time would be different. A knock at his office door interrupted his thoughts. His son stood in the doorway, pajamas rumbled, clutching a school notebook. "Dad, can you help me with my math?" "Homework." Jason quickly switched off the camera feeds. "Of course, buddy, come here." As he helped his son work through multiplication tables, Jason's role strengthened. His children deserved better than this toxic environment. Every move he had made over the past months had been calculated to protect them. Later that night, after the children were asleep, Jason received an encrypted email from his attorney. "All preparations are complete. Judges Thompson and Rodriguez are assigned to family court next month. Both have strong records against parental alienation. Property documents are ready. Trust funds established. Give the word and we move." Jason typed a short reply. "Not yet. One more piece. Tosecure." The next day brought another family dinner, another performance in their ongoing drama. Amber sat at one end of the table, his mother at the other, like bookends of betrayal. "Jason, dear," Elaine began, cutting Ginto, her meat, with surgical precision. "I've been talking with Dr. Peterson. You remember him, my friend from the hospital. Board, the psychiatrist." Jason kept his voice neutral, though he knew exactly where this was heading. "He's concerned about you," Amber chimed in, sharing a meaningful look with his mother. "We all are. The way you've been acting lately, spending all that time in your garage," Elaine added. "It's not healthy, and those long hours at the office." Amber sighed dramatically. "The children hardly see you anymore." Jason watched his children's faces as the women spoke, noting their discomfort. His daughter pushed food around her plate, while his son stared at his lap, another timestamp for the records. Emotional manipulation of minors would not play well in court. After dinner, Jason retreated to his study, ostensibly to work, but actually monitor the cameras. Sure enough, Amber and his mother lingered in the kitchen, their voices low but clear on his feeds. "Dr. Peterson will testify about his paranoid tendencies," Elaine said, sipping her wine. "The security cameras, the late nights at work, classic signs of deteriorating mental health. Michael's lawyer friend says that's all we need," Amber replied. "Once Jason's declared incompetent, I'll have control of everything. We can sell this place, split the profits, and the children." Elaine's voice held no grandmother's warmth. "Leverage," Amber said simply. "Hell sign whatever we put in front of him to keep partial custody." Jason's hands clenched in fists as he listened, but his face remained calm. They had no idea that Dr. Peterson had already provided a sworn statement about his mental competency, or that Michael's lawyer friend had been disbarred in 2 states for ethics. The next morning, Jason met with his bank manager again, this time to move the last significant chunk over deposits. "The transfers are complete," the manager confirmed. "All funds secured in the new accounts, untouchable by anyone but you." That afternoon, Jason received another message from Michael's wife. "Thank you for the videos. My lawyer says they're exactly what we needed." Everything was falling into place. The new house was ready, schools were arranged, funds were secured. The children's rooms were already furnished, waiting for the day they could leave this toxic environment behind. As Jason drove home that evening, he passed Michael walking down the street looking haggard and stressed. The man's perfect life was unraveling. His wife gone, his reputation in tatters, his lover about to lose everything. Pulling into his driveway, Jason saw his mother's car parked out front. Through the windows, he could see Amber and Elaine in the living room, heads together, plotting their next move. The security cameras would catch every word, every scheme, every plan they made. Inside, he played his role one last time. The beautiful son, the submissive husband, the man they thought they had broken. But beneath his calm exterior, Jason felt only cold determination. The time for waiting was almost over. That night, as Amber slept soundly beside him, confident in her perceived victory, Jason sent a final email to his attorney. "Begin tomorrow, no mercy." The storm he had so carefully gathered was about to break, and neither Amber nor his mother would see it coming until it was too late. Their own arrogance had blinded them. Their greed had made them careless. They thought they were the hunters, but all along they had been the prey. As he drifted off to sleep, Jason allowed himself a small smile. Tomorrow, everything would change. Tomorrow, justice would be served. Dawn broke over the neighborhood as Jason reviewed final preparations in his home office. The morning light cast long shadows across his desk where multiple screens displayed different aspects of his plan. Each monitor told its own story of betrayal and upcoming retribution. His phone lit up with a message from his attorney, Marcus. Court documents are ready. Judge Thompson's clerk confirmed our slot for tomorrow morning. Are you certain about the timing? Jason typed his response with steady fingers braced as planned. They'll be at their weakest when they think they're strongest. Through the security feed, he watched Amber in their kitchen, already dressed for her morning workout, typing frantically on her phone. The camera smithophone picked up her conversation clearly. Everything's ready for tomorrow, Michael, she said, her voice thick with anticipation. Once Mother presents her concerns to Dr. Peterson, it's just a matter of time. Jason won't know what hit him until it's too late. If only she knew how wrong she was. Jason switched to another feed. Checking the master bedroom camera last night had provided the final piece of evidence Honey dead. Amber, his mother, and Michael, all three of them plotting the details of their scheme to seize his assets and take his children. The competency hearing will be our chance, his mother had said, her voice filled with false concern. As his mother, my testimony about his mental state will be crucial. The security cameras, his obsession with work, the time spent alone in his garage. Classic paranoid behavior. Michael had laughed, sprawled comfortably across Jason's bed. Once he's declared unfit, Amber gets everything. The house, the business, Theckids, all of it. The children are our best leverage, Amber had added, her words making Jason's blood boil. He'll sign anything we put in front of him to keep partial custody. Jason archived the footage with the rest of his evidence, each file carefully labeled and time-stamped. His mother's involvement in the affair would destroy her reputation, the community she valued so much. The footage of her actively participating in their betrayal would be A soft knock at his office door interrupted his thoughts. His daughter stood there, backpack in hand, ready for school. Dad, her voice was hesitant. Can you drive me today? Mum said she's too busy. Of course, sweetheart. Jason closed his laptop, giving his daughter his full attention. Soon, she wouldn't have to live with her mother's neglect anymore. During the drive to school, Jason studied his daughter's profile, so much like his own. She'd been quieter lately, affected by the tension at home more than she let on. Everything's going to be different soon, he said softly. I promise. She looked at him, hope flickering in her eyes. Really, really, he squeezed her hand. As she got out of the car, just one more day. Back at his office, Jason met with his financial advisor, reviewing the last transfers that would protect his assets. The new accounts are completely secured, the advisor confirmed, sliding papers across the desk. They won't be able to touch any of it, even with a competency hearing. And the children's trusts, ironclad. Your wife and mother won't even know they exist until it's too late. Jason signed the final documents. Each signature another nail in the coffin of their schemes. His phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. Michael's wife's attorney reached out. She wants to coordinate timing with our filing. Perfect the destruction of their carefully constructed plans would be complete. Michael would lose everything. In his divorce, just as Amber and Elaine would lose everything in the coming confrontation. That evening, Jason sat through another family dinner, watching the subtle glances between his wife and mother. They were so confident in their victory, so certain of their control over him. Their arrogance had made them sloppy, leading them to say too much, reveal too much, all captured by his hidden cameras. I've scheduled an appointment with Dr. Peterson for you, his mother announced, cutting into her chicken with precise movements. Just a friendly chat. We're all so worried about you, dear. That's very thoughtful, Mother. Jason kept his voice neutral, playing the role they expected. When is it? Tomorrow morning, Amber answered quickly. I'll drive you there myself, of course. She would be wanted to present a united front to the psychiatrist, both of them concerned about his mental state. But Dr. Peterson had already provided a very different kind of statement, one that documented their attempts to manipulate him, into falsifying a mental health evaluation. After dinner, Jason retreated to his garage, knowing they would take the opportunity to finalize their plans. The cameras caught everything. Tomorrow's the day, his mother said, excitement making her voice sharp. Once Dr. Peterson submits his evaluation, we can file for an emergency competency hearing. Judge Harrison has already agreed to expedite the process. What they didn't know was that Judge Harrison had been quietly removed from the rotation after Marcus presented evidence of his connection to Elaine. Judge Thompson would be handling the case instead. A justice known for his zero tolerance of parental alienation and financial manipulation. Late that night, after everyone had gone to bed, Jason made his final preparations. The new house was ready, waiting for him and his children. The schools had been notified. The transfers arranged. Every detail had been carefully planned and executed. He sent one last message to Marcus. Everything is in place. Executed 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow. While Amber and his mother thought they were springing their trap, they would find themselves caught in his instead. The security cameras had captured every betrayal, every scheme, every manipulation. The financial cords showed every attempt to steal his assets. The testimonies were gathered, the evidence organized, the legal documents prepared. As Jason finally lay down to sleep, he felt no remorse for what was to come. They had tried to destroy him, to steal his children, to break his spirit. Instead, they had taught him patience, strategy, and the true meaning of justice. The security cameras blinked silently in their hidden locations, recording these final hours of Amber and Elaine's reign. Soon they would understand the consequences of their actions. Soon they would learn that the man they thought they had broken had become something much more dangerous. A man with nothing left to lose and everything to gain. Tomorrow the trap would spring and their carefully constructed world of manipulation and control would crumble around them. But first, Jason had one more night to endure, one final performance to give before the curtain fall on their tragic play. In the darkness of his bedroom, listening to Amber's steady breathing beside him, Jason allowed himself a small smile. The time for waiting was over. Tomorrow, everything would change. Tomorrow, justice would be served. The morning sun cast long shadows across Jason's office as he prepared for the confrontation. His laptop displayed multiple windows, security camera feeds, legal documents, and financial records. The clock on his desk read 8:55 a.m. His phone buzzed. Amber calling. He let it ring twice before answering. "Where are you?" Her voice dripped with artificial concern. "We have the appointment with Dr. Peterson in an hour." "I'm at the office," Jason replied calmly. "Something came up. Why don't you come here instead?" "What?" "No, you need to come home now. Your mother's already here, and we're all worried about. I'm sure you are." Jason's voice took on an edge that made Amber pause. "In fact, why don't you both come to my office? There's something we need to discuss." "Jason, you're not thinking clearly. This is exactly why we be here in 30 minutes. He cut her off, or I start sending the videos to everyone we know. A sharp intake of breath on the other end. What videos? 30 minutes. Amber, bring mother. He ended the call and turned to Marcus, who sat in the corner reviewing documents. They'll be here soon. The judge is ready. Marcus confirmed. Everything's in place. 28 minutes later, the office door burst open. Amber stormed in, designer heels clicking against the hardwood floor. Elaine closed behind her. What is the meaning of this? Elaine demanded, her face flushed with anger. We're going to be late for your appointment. Jason stood slowly, his expression cold. Sit down, both of you. Now listen here, Elaine started, but Jason cut her off. I said, sit down. His voice carried an authority that made both women hesitate. Or would you prefer to stand while we watch some interesting home videos? Amber's face palled. What are you talking about? Jason turned his laptop around, displaying multiple video windows. Let's start with last Tuesday night. You, Mother, and Michael, in our bedroom. Quite a performance. You've been spying on me. Amber's voice rose to a shriek. Spying. Jason laughed coldly. In my own house, I call it gathering advance. Would you like to see what else I have? Elaine stepped forward, switching to her soothing, maternal tone. Jason, dear, this kind of paranoid behavior is exactly why we're concerned. Installing hidden cameras, making accusations, save it. Jason pressed a button and their voices filled the room. Once he's declared incompetent, we can take everything, Amber's recorded voice declared. The house, the business, their children, and my testimony as his mother will seal it, Elaine's voice added. No judge would question a mother's concern for her. Son, Jason stopped the playback. Would you like to hear the part where you discuss using my children as leverage, or should we skip to the footage of your intimate moments with Michael? You can't prove anything, Amber snapped, but her hands were shaking. Actually, he can. Marcus, student introducing himself. Marcus Chen, Mr. Walker's attorney. We have extensive documentation of your conspiracy to fraudulently declare my client mentally incompetent, along with evidence of your affair and financial manipulations. This is ridiculous, Elaine scoffed. Judge Harrison would never judge. Harrison has been recused. Due to Tohei's connection to you, Mother, Jason interrupted. Judge Thompson is handling the case. In fact, he checked his watch. He should be reviewing our evidence right now. Amber lunged for her phone, but Jason was ready. Michael Wharton's were. He's busy with his own divorce proceedings. Apparently, his wife's lawyer had some very interesting videasto present this morning. You bastard, Amber hissed. You think you can just already have? Jason cut her off. The house is sold. The accounts are empty. The children's schools have been notified. It's over. The children are mine. Amber shrieked, rising from her chair. No judge will give them to you. Jason played another video clip. Amber's voice filled the room again, discussing using the children as leverage, admitting to her plans to alienate them from their father. Want to bet? Jason's voice was ice. I have hours or footage like this. Every manipulation, every scheme, every betrayal. Would you like our children to watch these videos, see who their mother really is? You're bluffing, Elaine declared, but uncertainty crept into her voice. Jason appended another file on his laptop, bank statements showing systematic attempts to drain company accounts. Emails discussing their plans to declare him incompetent, footage of their activities with Michael, transcripts of their conversations about using the children as pawns. Should I continue? The color drained from both women's faces as they realized the depth of their predicament. Amber's hands gripped the arms of her chair until her knuckles turned white. "What do you want?" she whispered. "Everything." Jason's voice was steel. "The divorce papers are already filed. You'll sign over full custody of the children. You'll relinquish all claims to my business and assets. You'll both disappear from our lives, or these videos go public." "You can't do this," Elaine protested. "I'm your mother." "A mother who conspired to destroy her son," Marcus interjected. "The evidence is quite compelling." Jason leaned forward, his eyes locked on theirs. "You thought you could break me, control me, take everything I love. Instead, you taught me how to fight back. Now, shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" Theophilus' air grew thick with tension as Marcus spread the divorce papers across the desk. Amber's hands trembled as she reached for them, her perfectly manicured nails clicking against the polished wood. "This is robbery, Shespat," scanning the documents. "You can't possibly expect." "Keep reading," Jason interrupted. "You'll find the terms quite comprehensive." Elaine leaned over Amber's shoulder, her face growing paler with each page. "This is outrageous. You're demanding full custody, no visitation rights. Would you prefer e-play, the video where you both discuss using my children as pawns?" Jason's finger hovered over his laptop. "The part where you plan to alienate them from me, or should we watch you coaching them to lie about their father's behavior?" "That's not what happened," Amber protested. "We just pressed play." The security footage showed Amber and Elaine in the kitchen with his daughter. "Remember, sweetie." Amber's recorded voice cooped when the nice doctor asks, "Tell him how Daddy spends all his time in the garage, how he barely talks to you anymore." "But that's not true." His daughter's voice wavered. "Don't you want to help, Mummy?" Elaine's voice cut in. "Sometimes we have to say things to help the people we love." Jason stopped the playback, his jaw clenched. "Would you like to see more?" "I have dozens of clips just like this." "You're twisting everything," Elaine accused, but her voice lacked conviction. "We were trying to protect." Jason's laugh, wash. "Let's talk about protection, Mother. Should we watch the footage of you participating in Amber's affair? See how you protected your son's marriage." Amber's head snapped up. "You wouldn't dare make that public. Think of your reputation." "My reputation? I'm not the one caught on camera having sex with Anna Burr while my mother-in-law watches. How would your social circle react to that, Mother? Your church friends? The hospital board?" Elaine sank into her chair, her face ashen. "You can't. I can't. I will." Jason's voice was still, "Unless you both sign these papers now." Marcus slid a pen across the desk. Amber stared at it like it was a snake. "What about Michael?" she asked quietly. "Have you already?" "Michael's marriage ended 20 minutes ago," Jason informed her. "His wife's lawyer had quite a presentation. Seems he'll be lucky to keep his dental practice after the divorce settlement." Amber's composure cracked. "You destroyed everything." "No." Jason's voice cut through her hysteria. "You did that. You and Mother. I just documented it." A knock at the door interrupted them. Another lawyer entered, nodding to Marcus. "Judge Thompson has reviewed the evidence," he announced. "He's granted the emergency custody order effective immediately." "What?" Elaine surged to her feet. "Without a hearing, without my testimony about Jason's mental state, your testimony." The new lawyer raised an eyebrow. "You mean your conspiracy to commit perjury?" That's also been submitted to the ethics board at the hospital where you serve. They're quite interested in reviewing your position. You can't do this, Elaine whispered, her authority crumbling. I'm your mother. I raised you. You manipulated me. Jason corrected, controlled me, tried to destroy me, just like you did to Dad. But I'm not him, Mother. I fight back. Amber grabbed the pen, her movements jerky. Fine, you win. I'll sign your papers. But you'll regret this, Jason. The children will never have to watch their mother manipulate them again. Jason's voice was cold. Sign both of you, then get out of my life. Asthe signed. Page after page, Jason pulled up another video on his laptop. The footage showed Amber and Elaine in the master bedroom with Michael. This copy is for you to keep, he told them, sliding over a USB drive. A reminder you'll never contact us again. The originals are in a secure location. If either of you ever tries to come near me or my children again, you'd really destroy your own mother's reputation, Elaine asked, her voice small. Yao stopped being my mother the moment you conspired with my wife to steal my children. Jason's eyes were hard. Signed the last page. The scratching of pens filled the silence. When they finished, Marcus gathered the documents, nodding to Jason. It's done, he confirmed. The house sale closes today. The custody order is in effect. Your accounts are resecured. Amber stood on shaky legs. My things have been packed and moved. To Asteroid's unit. Jason handed her a key. The code is in the envelope. You have 30 days to collect everything. And then what? Amber's voice cracked. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my concern. Jason turned to his mother. The same applies to you, Mother. Your access to the children's schools has been revoked. Your emergency contact status removed. Your house keys changed. Jason, please. Elaine tried one last time. We can talk about this. We're done talking. Jason stood. The next words from either of you will be in court if you violate the agreement you just signed. Levano. They walked out like broken dolls. Their designer clothes and perfect makeup, unable to hide their defeat. As the door closed behind them, Marcus gathered the final documents. It's really over, he said quietly. They won't recover from this. Good. Jason turned to the window, watching Amber and his mother emerge from the building below. They looked small, from this height diminished. Have the children been picked up from school? The driver is with them now, Marcus confirmed. They'll be at the new house within the hour. Everything's ready. Jason nodded, his reflection grim in the glass. They had thought him weak, thought they could break him. Instead, they had created their own destruction. Send copies of everything to the ethics board, he instructed, and the hospital board. Mother needs to understand the full consequences of her actions. And Amber, her social circle, will take care of that. Jason said coldly, once they learn how she betrayed not just her husband, but manipulated her own children, she'll find out who her real friends are. Jason stood in the driveway of his new home, watching as his children explored their front yard. The moving truck had already delivered their essential belongings, carefully packed and transported while Amber and Elaine were occupied at his office. His phone buzzed. Michael's number. Jason answered, his voice cold. You've got nerve calling me. Listen, Jason. Michael's voice cracked with desperation. My wife's lawyer. Footage you sent her. I've lost everything. Feeling trapped. Jason's tone carried no sympathy. Funny how that works, please. I can explain, like you explained to my wife how to manipulate my children. or how you explain to my mother the best ways to destroy me. Jason's grip tightened on his phone. Let me explain something to you, Michael. Your dental practice. Check the online reviews tomorrow. Your reputation. Watch how fast your patients disappear when they learn about your ethics. You can't. I already have. Jason cut him off. Your wife's lawyer is very thorough. She's making sure every professional, board and potential patient knows exactly who you are. Goodbye, Michael. He ended the call just as his daughter approached, her eyes bright with excitement. Dad, have you seen my new room? It's perfect. She hugged him tightly. But when is Mum coming? Jason knelt to her level. Remember how we talked about changes? About living in a safer, happier home without the fighting? His son joined them, his voice small but hopeful. That's right. Jason pulled them both close. Your mother made some bad choices. She hurt our family. She won't be living with us anymore. Is that why Grandma whistling at the school today? His daughter asked. Jason's expression hardened. What do you mean? She came during lunch. The principal made her leave. His daughter shifted uncomfortably. She was saying mean things about you. Before Jason could respond, his phone rang again. The principal, Mr. Walker. I wanted to inform you personally about an incident today. The principal's voice was professional but concerned. Your mother attempted to remove your children from school. When we showed her the new custody order, she became disruptive. What exactly did she say? She made several accusations about your mental state, claimed you had manipulated that. The principal paused. We've added her to the restricted access list as per your lawyer's instructions. Security footage of the incident has been forwarded to your attorney. Thank you for protecting my children. Jason's voice was grateful but firm. If either your mother or your ex-wife attempts contact again, we'll contact the authorities immediately, the principal assured him. After ending the call, Jason gathered his children close. Listen to me, both of you. Your grandmother and mother might say some harsh things. They might try to make you feel bad or scared, but I promise you, you're safe here. No one will hurt you or manipulate you ever again. His son looked up, serious. Mum said you were sick, that you needed help. But that wasn't true, was it? No, buddy. That was one of their lies. Jason's heart ached at manipulation his children had endured. They tried to use you to hurt me, but they won't get that chance again. Inside the house, Jason's phone lit up with messages. Amber's social circle was imploding as news of her betrayal spread. The hospital board had called an emergency meeting about his mother's ethics violation. Michael's dental practice was flooded with cancellations as his wife's lawyer systematically exposed his behavior to their community. His attorney called with updates. The judge reviewed the additional footage from the school incident. He's adding a restraining order to the custody agreement. Neither your mother nor Amber can come within 500 feet of you or the children. Good, Jason watched his children exploring their new backyard through the window and the financial transfers complete. Amber's attempts to access the accounts were blocked. Your mother's influence with the bank board has been neutralized. The evidence of their conspiracy made quite an impression. A text from Michael's wife appeared. Thank you for the evidence. My lawyer says it's bulletproof. He won't know what hit him. Jason allowed himself a small smile. The trap had sprung perfectly, catching all of them in their own web of lies and manipulation. Amber's carefully cultivated social status was crumbling. His mother's reputation as a community leader was in tatters. Michael's professional life was Destroyed, the doorbell rang, his new neighbors bringing welcome gifts. Jason straightened his shoulders, ready to begin their new life. Behind him, his children's laughter filled the house, no longer stifled by toxic manipulation. His phone buzzed. One last time. Amber again. Her text was desperate. The country club revoked my membership. My friends won't answer my calls. Please, Jason, you have to stop this. He deleted the message without responding. Let her experience the isolation she had tried to force. On him, let her feel the helplessness she had wanted him to feel. The security system chimed, indicating motion at the front gate. On the camera feed, he watched Elaine's car slow down as she drove past, but she didn't stop. The restraining order was already in effect, and for once in her life, his mother had no power to control him. Evening settled over their new home. Jason sat with his children at dinner, listening to them chatter excitedly about their new rooms, their new yard, their new beginning. The weight of Yosef manipulation lifted from his shoulders. They were free. His lawyer sent a final update. Amber's attempt to challenge the custody order was rejected. Your mother's position on the hospital board has been terminated. Michael's practice is facing an ethics investigation. It's done. Jason looked at his children, saw their smiles, heard their genuine laughter. Yes, it was done. The trap had sprung. Justice had been served, and they would never again have to live under the shadow of manipulation and control. 3 months after the confrontation, Jason sat in his home office reviewing the cascade of destruction his evidence had unleashed. His laptop played multiple news articles, each one detailing another piece of his opponent's downfall. His phone rang, Marcus calling with updates. The hospital board's decision is final, his attorney reported. Your mother's position has been terminated, effective immediately. They're even reviewing past decisions she influenced. How did she take it? Jason's voice held no sympathy. Not well. She tried to claim discrimination, but when they showed her the footage of her participating in Amber's affair, Marcus paused. She left the building, escorted by security. A notification popped up on Jason's screen. An email from Michael's wife's attorney. Hold on, Marcus. I need to take this. The email contained a video link. Jason clicked it, and footage from a court hearing filled his screen. Michael stood before a judge, his once confident demeanor shattered. Your Honor, Michael pleaded. My practice is ruined. My wife has taken everything. I can't even afford. Perhaps you should have considered the consequences before engaging in adultery with your neighbor's wife. The judge interrupted, and conspiring to fraudulently declare him mentally unfit. The court finds in favor of Mrs. Davidson. You will surrender. Your remaining assets are sorted. Jason's doorbell rang. Through the security camera, he saw Amber standing on his porch, her designators replaced by department store offerings, her perfect makeup now showing signs of wear. I'll handle this, Jason told Marcus. Keep me updated on Mother's appeals. Of course, but remember, she's violating the restraining order just by being there. Jason opened his front door, but remained behind the security screen. You're not supposed to be here, Amber. Please, she begged, her voice cracking. Everything's gone. The country club cancelled my membership. My friends won't take my calls. I can't even get a job because of the videos. The consequence of your own actions. Jason's voice was ice. Did you think I wouldn't fight back? That I'd just roll over and let you steal my children? I made a mistake. Tears, stir, makeup. I'll do anything. Just call off the lawyers. Stop the videos from spreading like you were going to stop when you tried to declare me mentally unfit. Jason's icing. When you coached our children to lie about me, that was your mother's idea, and you went along with it. Jay sunk her off, just like you went along with her joining you and Michael in our bed. Tell me, Amber, what kind of mother involves her mother? In her affair, a police car turned onto the street, responding to the silent alarm Jason had triggered. Amber saw it and backed away from the door. You've destroyed everything, she whispered. No, Jason's voice was firm. You did that yourself. Every scheme, every manipulation, every betrayal, those were choices. I just made sure you couldn't hide them anymore. The police car stopped in front of the house. Two officers approached, their expressions professional but stern. Miss Walker, one officer called out. You're in violation of a restraining order. Please step away from the house. He's ruined my life. Amber's voice rose hysterically. My own children won't even. Ma'am, step back now or we'll have to take you into custody. As the officers led Amber away, her mascara running down her face, Jason's phone buzzed with a text from his mother. The church board wants Tommy'd. They've seen the videos. Please, son, if you ever loved me. Jason deleteth message without responding. Let her face the consequences of her actions. Let her explain to her precious social circle why she participated in her daughter-in-law's affair, why she tried to destroy her own son. Inside, he heard his children playing in the family room, their laughter free and genuine now that they were away from the toxic environment. His daughter's voice carried down the hall. Dad, can we have pizza for dinner? Of course, sweetheart. Jason smiled, the first real smile of the day. I'll be right there. His phone lit up again. Another update from Marcus. Elaine's appeal was rejected. The restraining order stands. She's been removed from all hospital committees, and the ethics board is launching a full investigation into her past decisions. Perfect. His mother's carefully constructed social empire was crumbling, just as she had once tried to crush his. The woman who had manipulated everyone around her, who had driven his father away and tried to destroy her Aunson, was finally facing the consequences of her toxic behavior. 1 week after Amber's failed attempt to confront Jason, the local newspaper headline read, Hosea board member removed amid scandal. Jason read the article over his morning coffee. Each word another nail in his mother's social coffin. His phone rang, a number he didn't recognize. When he answered, he heard his mother's voice, thin with desperation. Jason, please, you have to stop this. Elaine's usual commanding tone had crumbled into something barely recognizable. The hospital board, my friends, at church, everyone's seeing those horrible videos. Horrible. Jason's voice turned sharp. You mean the truth? The evidence of what you did? I'm your mother. Everything I did was to control me, to destroy me, just like you did to Dad. Jason's grip tightened on his phone. Tell me, Mother, did the church board enjoy watching you participate in your daughter-in-law's affair? Did you explain to them how that was for my own good? You don't understand, Elaine pleaded. I was trying to protect, save it for your ethics hearing. Jason cut her off. Though I doubt the medical board will be as understanding as you hope. Goodbye, Mother. Jason, wait. The country club is threatening to revoke my membership, my charity board positions. My reputation is exactly what you deserve to lose. Jason ended the call. His security system alerted him to movement at the front gate. Through the camera feed, he watched Michael pull up in what looked like a rental car, a far cry from his usual luxury vehicle. The doorbell rang. Jason pressed the intercom button. "You're violating the restraining order, Michael. Please, just 5 minutes." Michael's voice crackled through the speaker. "My practice is ruined. My wife took everything in the divorce. An ethics investigation from the dental board. Karma's interesting, isn't it?" Jason replied coldly. "How does it feel to lose everything? To have your life torn apart by someone else's choices?" "I'll do anything," Michael begged. "Just call off your lawyers. Ask your friend on the dental board to like you were going to call off your lawyer friend when you planned to declare me unfit." Jason's voice carried no sympathy. "The police are already on their way. I'd leave if I were you." As Michael's car peeled away, Jason's phone lit up with a text from Amber's sister. "She's living in my guest room. No one will hire her. Her therapist says she's having a breakdown. Your children deserve to know their mother." Jason typed back a single response. "They deserve to be free from manipulation. Don't contact me again." His lawyer called moments later. The ethics board's decision came down. "Your mother has been permanently barred from serving on any hospital committees. They're also recommending she be removed from all charitable organizations due to moral turpitude." In her church position, the board voted unanimously to remove her from all leadership roles. Marca's voice held a note of satisfaction. "The videos were quite convincing." "Good." Jason watched through the window as his children played in the backyard. Their faces were relaxed and happy. "What about Amber's latest appeal?" "Denied." The judge was particularly interested in the footage of her coaching your daughter to lie about you. She won't be getting visitation rights anytime soon. A notification popped up on Jason's laptop. A local news website updating their story about Michael's practice. Local dentist faces ethics investigation. Practice closure imminent. Sources say patient exodus followed revelations of personal misconduct. His phone buzzed again. Another text from his mother, this time from a different number. "The hospital board is reviewing every decision I've influenced. My entire career, everything I built. Please, son." Jason blocked the new number without responding. Let her suffer the consequences of her actions. Let her feel the powerlessness she had inflicted on others for so long. Through his security cameras, he watched a moving truck pull up to Michael's house. The man who had participated in destroying his marriage was now Lasenga's home, his practice crumbling around him just as he had helped try to dismantle Jason's life. His daughter's voice called from the kitchen. "Dad, can you help me with my science project?" "Coming, sweetheart." Jason smiled, turning away from the monitors. His children were thriving now, freed from the toxic influence of their mother and grandmother. Another email notification, this one from the country club board, regarding the termination of Mrs. Walker's and Mrs. Davidson's memberships. Justice was serving itself, one devastating blow at a time. Amber's social circle had imploded, her reputation destroyed by her own actions. His mother's carefully constructed image of respectability had shattered, leaving her to face the consequences of her manipulation. Michael's comfortable life had crumbled. His professional reputation is ruined as his marriage. 6 months after the confrontation, Jason stood in his backyard watching his children play with their new friends from the neighborhood. The sound of genuine laughter filled the air, a stark contrast to the tense silence that had dominated their old home. His phone rang. Marcus with the final updates. Thellist appeal has been rejected, his lawyer reported. Amber's attempt to modify the custody agreement failed spectacularly. The judge actually cited her continued harassment attempts as evidence. supporting the original decision. How did she react? Jason moved inside to take the call privately, broke down in court, started screaming about conspiracy and revenge. They had to escort her out. Marcus paused. She's living in a small apartment now, working as a retail clerk. Quite a fall from her social throne. And my mother, even worse. The hospital board's investigation uncovered decades of manipulation and ethical violations. They're considering legal action. She's been removed from every charitable organization in the city. Her church asked her to find a new congregation. Jason's security system pinged. Movement at the front gate. The camera showed Elaine standing there, her designer outfit replaced by discount store clothing, her perfect hair now showing streaks of grey. I have to go, he told Marcus. Mothers, making Anadorat, want me to call the police. Not yet. Let's see what she has to say. Jason walked to the gate, maintaining a safe distance. Elaine's hands trembled as she gripped her purse. You've won, Jason, she said, her voice hollow. Is that what you wanted to hear? You've destroyed everything, E-built, my reputation, my position, my whole life, like you tried to destroy mine. Jason's voice was steel, like Yao destroyed Dad's. I was protecting you. Elaine's facade cracked. Everything I did was for control. Jason cut her off. Every manipulation, every scheme, every betrayal, it was all about control. Tell me, Mother, how does it feel to be powerless? To watch everything you built crumble around you? I'm living in a tiny apartment, she whispered. My friends won't take my calls. The hospital board is threatening legal action. Please, son, I'm not your son anymore. Jason's words felt like hammer blows. You lost that right when you conspired with my wife to steal my children. When you participated in her affair. When you tried to destroy me just like you destroyed Dad. Your father was weak. Elaine's voice rose hysterically. He couldn't handle a strong woman. No, Mother. He escaped your manipulation just like I did. Jason's finger hovered over the security system's police alert. Leave now, or I call the police. The restraining order is still in effect. As Elaine walked away, her shoulders slumped in defeat. Jason's phone buzzed with a news alert. The headline read, Prominent dentist files bankruptcy following ethics investigation. Michael had finally hit rock bottom. His practice closed, his reputation ruined, his life destroyed by his own choices. The man who had participated in trying to break Jason had broken himself instead. Inside, Jason found his daughter working on her homework at the kitchen table. Dad, she asked hesitantly, I saw Grandma at the gate. Is she trying to hurt us again? Jason sat beside her, his voice gentle but firm. No, sweetheart, she can't hurt us anymore. None of them can. I heard Mom lost her job again, his son added, joining them. And Susan Sasha's really sad. Your mother made choices, Jason explained carefully. Bad choices that hurt our family. Now she's facing the consequences of those choices. Like when you showed the videos to everyone, his daughter asked. Theons of Mom and Grandma being mean. Exactly. Jason squeezed her hand. Sometimes the truth is the best weapon against people who try to hurt us. Later that evening, as Jason prepared dinner, another news alert caught his eye. Society scandal continues. Former hospital board member faces legal investigation. His mother's carefully constructed world had finally crumbled completely. The woman who had manipulated everyone around her, who had driven his father away and tried to destroy her own son, was facing the full consequences of her toxic behavior. Amber's latest attempt at redemption had arrived in the mail, a tear-stained letter, begging for forgiveness. Jason fed it into the shredder without reading it. She had lost everything: her social status, her comfortable lifestyle, her reputation, and most importantly, her power to manipulate their children. Theodore bell rang. Through the security camera, Jason saw his children's teacher bringing updates about their improving grades and emotional well-being. "They're like different children," the teacher reported warmly. "So much happier, merengaged. Whatever changes you've made at home, they're working wonderfully." Jason watched his children setting the table for dinner. Their movements relaxed, their smiles genuine. The dark cloud of manipulation and control that had haunted their lives had lifted, replaced by the warmth of honest love and security. His phone lit up one last time. A final message from Michael. "My wife took everything. My practice is bankrupt. The dental board revoked Millicent's. You've destroyed me." Jason typed a simple response. "No, you destroyed yourself. Actions have a consequences." As he sat down to dinner with his children, listening to their stories about school and friends, Jason felt the last weight lift from his shoulders. The trap he had set had sprung perfectly, catching all his enemies in their own web of lies and manipulation. Amber, once the proud social butterfly, now struggled to make ends meet in a life stripped of luxury and status. His mother, the master manipulator, had lost her power and position, her reputation shattered by her own cruel choices. Michael, the arrogant neighbor who had participated in their betrayal, had lost everything: his marriage, his practice, his comfortable life. But most importantly, his children were free. Free from manipulation, free from toxic influence, free to grow and thrive in an environment of truth and love. They would never again have to witness their mother's cruel games or their grandmother's manipulation. The security cameras that had caught their betrayal now watched over a happy home, their blinking lights, a reminder that sometimes the best revenge is simply exposing the truth. "Dad," his daughters broke through his thoughts. "Can we have ice cream for dessert?" Jason smiled, a genuine warm smile that reached his eyes. "Of course we can, sweetheart. We have a lot to celebrate." The sun set on their new home, casting long shadows across the yard where so many happy memories were already being made. Inside, the sound of children's laughter echoed through the rooms.